All right, so quick question for y'all. What do all of these franchises and characters in front of us have in common that people seem to only be now seeing and complaining about? They're all quote unquote woke. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news to these people, but I don't know if you know this, but all this stuff was already woke. It was woke when it started. Superman, we're going to start there because the discourse about the movie from a certain audience is, oh, why are you going to make it political? Why are you going to call him an immigrant and all this stuff? Well, first of all, so Superman came here from another planet and was adopted by American citizens. And he's not from here. He's not even from Earth. So yes, Superman is an alien immigrant. An illegal alien immigrant, if you were, because last I checked, we didn't have a way of naturalizing people that come from outer space. And that's always been the narrative. I don't know if you know this, but 2 Jews created Superman. Joel Shuster and I forget the other name, but they created Superman to be an ideal for an America that they would like to see, which is one that was actively fighting against Hitler and not giving into the fascism and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, Superman to them was an allegory for a Jewish American immigrant. And there you go. That is your first and main representation of Superman. A Jewish American immigrant is who they were writing this character for, to represent, even though it's not religious character, it's, you know, all that stuff. But based on the stories they were telling and who wrote it and the way that it's portrayed, that's exactly what Superman is. He's an illegal alien immigrant who came to America and stands for truth and justice and the American way when it's working properly. And then you get to Indiana Jones. I got my Mezco one over there on the left, and a lot of people were like, oh, you're just bringing in a strong woman because woke and all this stuff, and they actually absolutely tanked Dial of Destiny, which was a good movie. The thing that was missing from it was definitely Spielberg. There was no Spielberg touches in there. It was a different feeling movie, but I still enjoyed it. It was more concise, more well put together than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, for sure, although that did have its Spielbergisms. But like, that's beside the point. When you're talking about these characters and you're saying, oh, I can't believe they did this, don't you remember Marion Ravenwood? Yeah, she was captured for half the movie, but she didn't take no crap. Just because she was captured didn't mean she was going to roll over. She tried to she tried to shank Belloc and get out of there, and always had something to say, and was punching and shooting bad guys left and right. So there was always that strong female lead in Indiana Jones, except for Temple of Doom, obviously, because Willie was the reverse of that trope. She was the damsel in distress, and that was intentional. So, you know, you're talking about these things, and you say you enjoy these things, but it seems like you don't know much about these things, and that's really awful. You know, like, you're complaining about something you supposedly love, because to you it means something completely different than what it means to everyone else. And that's because you're looking at it through these weird colored glasses, probably like garbage colored glasses. You're like, man, so I've been getting brigaded recently by like a bunch of transphobic little jerks, and it's like, I hope that y'all know that anyone who acts like that, anyone who hates immigrants, who hates trans people, who hates, you know, queer people, anything like that, you are the bad guy in X-Men. You are the guys holding up the sign saying, mutants don't matter, mutant lives don't matter, mutants are freaks, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of you, you know, you've owned that. You're like, yeah, I don't like the X-Men because it's woke now. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, sweetie, but X-Men was always woke. It was always woke. When X-Men started, it was the 60s, and the civil rights were a big issue, and you know, it was going on in the news, and black people were fighting for the right to vote and be represented. And the X-Men is an allegory for every single minority who has been downtrodden and disrespected by this country and by the people of this country, because regardless of what you do, they exist and they will do their best to be the best versions of themselves, regardless of the people saying, oh, mutants are evil, mutants are freaks, all this kind of stuff. You just don't understand what you're watching or reading, and that's okay. That's okay. But that doesn't mean you go online and say, oh, this is the worst representation of something ever. I've never been so insulted in my life. No, that's not what this means. It means that you fully and sadly do not comprehend what you're watching or reading. And the same thing is said of Star Wars. When the Acolyte came out, oh, Star Wars is woke now. No, it's always been woke. The Star Wars, the Rebels versus the Empire, that was meant to be the Viet Cong versus the, American army coming in and invading their country and invading their home, because that's what was going on in the 70s, is Vietnam War. And I hate to tell you, but the Empire is the bad guy. Imperialism is bad. In fact, I would call George Lucas very woke, because these are the ideas that he was, you know what they called the German soldiers in World War II? They called them stormtroopers. So it's not hard to see that the Empire is meant to be any big country pushing its ideals and on smaller countries, smaller places, and being like, you know what, we're going to purify and gentrify this because we feel this is right. And then you have that small ragtag group of rebels fighting back and doing what needs to be done. And then they call it, quote unquote, terrorism. And Wolverine says something in Secret Wars that will always stick with me to Captain America, because Captain America is like, who's back here? We'll talk about him too. Well, we're getting to him right now, actually. Captain America said, hey, a lot of what you do is considered terrorism. And Wolverine's like, you know what, bub? Terrorism is just a bigger guy calling the smaller guy a terrorist because they don't agree. And that's true. In most cases, when it comes to these conflicts, the bigger guy, the bigger country, I'm not going to name any names, but you know what I'm talking about. In multiple cases, it's going on all over the world right now. They're not the good guy. It's the little guy fighting back, getting called a terrorist or a villain or whatever, because they're defending themselves, because they're standing on ideals, because they're trying to protect their home or their friends and family. And people, the main thing here is like, oh, Captain America's woke. You made a black Captain America. Okay, so Captain America, much like Superman, punched Hitler on one of his earliest comic books right in the face. So you tell me that Captain America would be standing on your side and being, oh yeah, let's get these immigrants out of this country, let's do all this that's bad. And it's like, no, you simply fundamentally have missed the point of all of these things that you quote unquote enjoy. And that's fine, but you should definitely be quiet about it, because it just makes you look very, very silly. And coming onto someone's channel and talking crap on their live stream because, you think that they're gay or trans or any other minority, that's not okay. And then coming 6 months, 7 months after the fact, they go on there and say, hey, you should probably stop this and stop being a jerk and you kind of stink. And then they come in here and try to get all their friends and stuff to brigade you. That's not okay. And that's what kind of inspired me to make this video. It's like, you guys are not the good guys. You think that because, oh, you came over here and talked. No, I was saying, hey, don't come onto my channel and talk crap, because I'm not going to take that stuff. I'm going to go over there and say, hey, knock it off. And I'm not going to be nice about it either. And if I lose a couple subscribers because I'm pointing out the flaws in their logic or whatever, it's fine. Because you know what? At 4K, which we will hit 4K, we're still giving away this Moth-X Spider-Man, so haters be damned. We're getting there. We're at over 3,500, but I think we're at 3,550 something. So, definitely gone up since I took my 2-week break. I was at like 3,515 when I started. So, the subscribers are coming, they going, depending on what I say or whatever. So I figured, why not? Let's just talk about a thing that's really bothering me. We're also giving this away at 5K, so there's some incentives if you're new here. If you like the content, if you like what I'm saying, hit subscribe. And also, Reddit is a very toxic place. You can go on there and be talking about toys, and then you say something, and all of a sudden someone's talking about your identity, and it's like, Do you have nothing better to say or defend yourself with than to personally attack someone? Because that's pretty silly. It makes you look pretty dumb, and think you should probably rethink your life. But, you know, I just wanted to say that all the things you like are woke. They've been woke the whole time. And woke doesn't mean what you think it means either. It just means that you're aware and perceive the social, racial, and, you know, civil rights injustices that are currently very imbalanced in this country and elsewhere. You know, that's all it means. It doesn't mean that you're quote unquote DEIing everybody or turning everyone trans or gender swapping everybody in movies and changing the color of their skin. And generally, when it comes to storytelling, if a story is told well enough, does any of that stuff really matter? I mean, of course, there's characters that have been portrayed a certain way the whole time, and that's fine. But when you introduce new characters or smaller characters that people don't know, and then you yourself look it up and are like, that wasn't that before, I'm personally offended, you're the problem. Because things change. With characters like Wonder Man, I don't think the color of Simon's skin is very important. So the Wonder Man MCU TV show coming out, people are going to complain about that. People are complaining about Ironheart because I haven't watched it. I'm sure it's not terrible, but they're complaining about Ironheart simply because, oh no, it's a black woman in a show replacing quote unquote Iron Man. No one's replacing Iron Man. She's going to be part of the Young Avengers. If you don't know the Young Avengers, also pretty woke. So I don't know what to tell you. If you like all this stuff and you don't like woke, then just stop watching it. Don't go watch the new Superman movie. Don't watch X-Men 97 Season 2. Don't read Captain America comics. Don't watch the old Indiana Jones movies. It's literally going around punching Nazis. Like, you can't get more woke than that. I'm sorry. But, yeah, if you guys like this video, smash like, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, become a channel member if you are not a channel member. For 99 cents, there's extra content, extra live streams, just extra stuff. You get new figure reviews early. Comment, let me know. If you disagree, then just don't say anything because you're wrong and I don't want to hear it, and you'll get hidden from my channel if you say a bunch of horrible stuff. And the thing about hiding someone from their channel is they don't know that they're hidden. So they'll just keep coming in here and saying stuff, and I'm assuming that's what was going on with those people brigading me, because I had like recently looked and been like, who's on here that I don't even know? And I just removed a bunch of people from my hidden list. I was like, maybe the problem has resolved itself and I'll never see these people again. But nope, some people just keep on going. So it is what it is. They're hidden from my channel again. Hopefully I never see them again. But yeah, like I said, it was just bothering me. It led me to making this video and just... the toy community, the comic book community, they're very inclusive. You should understand that action figures and toys and all that stuff, it transcends identity, it transcends, you know, all that stuff. If you enjoy collecting toys, you have that in common with every other toy collector. And that's where you should start. You shouldn't start with the differences. You should start with what's the same. And then if you learn something new about the characters that you like, awesome. If you don't, and you already knew all this stuff, awesome as well. But it's better to spread knowledge and be nice when it comes to stuff like this. Like, I can definitely be mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a very petty person, so if someone is mean or awful, I'm not gonna take it lying down. Y'all know I'm called Rowdy Riles for a reason. It's not because I'm sunshine and rainbows all the time. But I just think that some people need to take a step back, look at what they're saying, look at what they're ingesting as far as content, and understand that maybe their viewpoint is completely wrong and they just need to change it. Or the world is going to be a lot harder for them when all of this bullcrap that's happening now is over. So, yeah, leave it at that. Like, subscribe, comment, be kind to your local LGBTQ community. Please don't come onto a queer person's channel and attack them. You don't know what someone's mindset is like. You don't know if that's the last straw. You don't know if you could be the reason that someone's not here anymore. I'm not saying that's the case with me because I don't give a crap. I just think they're all silly and goofy and I'll hide them. And it's like you have nothing better to contribute other than showing how stupid you are. But, you know, it's just one of those things. Be kind to your local LGBTQ community. If you're protesting, be safe. Keep your head up, stay brave. I love you. I will see you next time, and bye-bye. And also, stay woke.
Just wait 1 minute. I'm watching this new Rowdy Rouse video and it's really awesome. I don't want to miss it.
It's like this chick that reviews action figures and it's really freaking cool.
Yes, I think they saw some videos and there's some really good contents out there, you know?
She reviews the ponies and stuff because you knows I love ponies.
She doesn't review ponies. It's freaking cool stuff, Toki.